COVID-19 cases and 2 additional deaths from the virus have been recorded in Jamaica, increasing the total of confirmed cases on the island now to 90,905, while fatalities have increased to 2,365. The deceased are a 94-year-old woman from St. Catherine and a 70-year-old man from St. Mary. Meanwhile, of the new infections, 25 are females and 25 are males, ranging in age from 2 to 88 years. In tonight's COVID-19 parish breakdown, St. Catherine recorded 17 cases, Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 12 cases, Hanover recorded 7 cases, Westmoreland and St. Thomas recorded 4 cases each, Clarendon and St. James recorded 2 cases each, Manchester and St. Mary recorded 1 case each, while St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, St. Anne and Portland have no cases on record for the stipulated period. In the meantime, there were 103 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 62,068. In other news tonight, today, Jamaica officially received 200,000 SinoFarm vaccine doses courtesy of the People's Republic of China. Here is Colleen May with more on this story.
During today's handing over ceremony of 200,000 Sinopharm vaccine doses courtesy of the People's Republic of China in Kingston, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tofton says this is an indication of the government's enhanced capacity to respond to the pandemic.
So we are in receipt of some 200,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine, 100,000 of which was donated. And I want to just say thanks again for that important donation. And, it is an indication of our enhanced capacity to respond to the pandemic, in that we have not necessarily desired this, but it has emerged where vaccine preferences and brands have become an issue. And while we recommend that the best approach to vaccine is to take the first one you get, because we do have a quality and a standard for vaccines here in Jamaica that meets all the important tests, expert tests, clinical trials, and so on. It is a reality that there are some preferences, and so adding another to the numbers that we have does add to the options that people have, and hopefully to the take-up that will follow as we seek to get as many Jamaicans vaccinated as possible.
Dr. Tofton also extended thanks to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade and the health teams across the country.
Thank you very much for the efforts of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. To our health team, some of you are here, we also want to say thanks and to recognize you for the efforts that you have made, not just in this particular initiative, but every chance I get, I say for the last 18 months, because it has really been a journey. Prime Minister, when you appointed me, I never signed up for this, I was telling the truth. But we are where we are, and we try to make the best of it with your guidance, sir. Quickly though, partnerships have always been vital for our successful response to the pandemic, despite our struggles that we have had to confront, as all other countries have. The government and people of the People's Republic of China have been unwavering in their collaboration, Mr. Ambassador, and with your stewardship here, we want to again recognize that partnership as a very important response. It is a tide that raises all vessels. We sink or we swim together, and I think the donation is an indication of that.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith said the government looks forward to continuing partnership with the People's Republic of China in the interest of the country's people.
I am truly happy to be able to witness the official handover of the Sinopharm vaccines to the government of Jamaica by the government of the People's Republic of China. This has been quite a journey, but taken together has ensured that we are truly all gratified by the results which we welcome today. We know that not only members of the Chinese community in Jamaica have been awaiting their arrival, but certainly Jamaicans as well who value the traditional technology to be used. I wish to say that my team and I are so grateful for the support of our colleagues at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, with whom we've been working assiduously to get to this point. And we're equally appreciative of the efforts of our friends at the Chinese Embassy. Ambassador Tian, you and your team, who have stood with us throughout this entire period, can rest assured and know that your efforts have made the difference in providing Jamaicans with an important traditional option for receiving vaccines. We are indeed looking forward to our continued friendly cooperation and strategic engagement in the interests of our people as we seek to recover from this pandemic, where we have recognized that no one is safe until everyone is safe.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in his remarks, thanked the government and the people of China for their continuing support and urged persons to get vaccinated against the virus.
China has been a reliable friend and partner from the outset of the pandemic, providing much-needed medical supplies and equipment to support our public health infrastructure. Indeed, it was less than 2 months ago that we had the official handover of 2 vaccination mobile units from the Yantai municipal government, valued at some $21 million Jamaican dollars each. These mobile units have greatly assisted our efforts to improve access to vaccines within communities across the length and breadth of the island. We are gratified for this continued show of solidarity from our friends in China. The SinoFarm vaccines that we are receiving today will add yet another brand to the suite of vaccine options available to the Jamaican public. I encourage everyone to make the most of the opportunity and to ensure that they protect themselves and others as we adjust to living with the virus. We have a collective responsibility in this endeavor, and it is my hope that we make steady progress towards realizing the objective of full vaccination.
Chinese ambassador to Jamaica, TIANCHI, says this contribution represents the Chinese government and its people's support of Jamaica and the two countries' diplomatic relationship.
Last Sunday marked the 49th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. On this joyful occasion, it is my great pleasure to welcome and hand over the vaccine to Jamaica on behalf of the government of China. The vaccines represent the goodwill of Chinese government and the people to support Jamaica's response to the pandemic, and is further evidence of our deep friendship and solid strategic partnership. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, we have been working together closely to tide over difficulties and combat diseases side by side. At this moment, the spread of the COVID-19 virus is still ongoing, and we are determined to continue supporting our Jamaican friends within our capacity and sharing our experience and technology.
Reporting from Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Thank you, Colleen, for that report. Continuing with the news tonight, the government earlier today signed a contract with the China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, CHEC, for the entity to carry out the works under the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project. The $220 million design-build contract will comprise the Montego Bay Perimeter Road, the Barnett Street and West Green Avenue Road rehabilitation, the Long Hill Bypass, as well as a comprehensive drainage study of the Montego Bay Bypass. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in his address, said that this project is part of a suite of significant infrastructural developments that will drive Jamaica's economic recovery.
I'm pleased today that we are finally at this point of contract signing for the Montego Bay Perimeter Road. This project is part of a suite of significant infrastructure development that will drive Jamaica's economic recovery, improve productivity, stimulate growth, and boost employment. And I know that the people of Montego Bay are particularly pleased with this project. A bypass, a perimeter road for Montego Bay, has been contemplated for at least, as you've said, 16 years, with only one main thoroughfare connecting the east of the city to the west. The city has been plagued by significant traffic congestion. A 2017 study of traffic through the city showed that the daily traffic reached in excess of 57,845 vehicles per day, which is the highest traffic volume in the island, outside of Kingston, that is. And this is so even during the pandemic. And in fact, I've gotten reports that suggest that it has worsened since the pandemic.
The Prime Minister also explained that in this development project, the government will be financing a drainage study in the hope of using data from the study to do infrastructural work to mitigate the flooding threat to the parish.
There have also been perennial issues of flooding in Montego Bay, and we saw this again just 2 weeks ago. Recent flood events in Montego Bay have disrupted businesses and schools, caused persons to miss their flights, and left residents and commuters stranded. Therefore, in this development, we are also financing a drainage study, which will be included in the entire package. And hopefully from that study, we can then undertake the infrastructure development to mitigate, or if not eliminate, the flooding threat that seems to be now on clockwork every 2 years. Now, I gave a commitment to the people of Montego Bay that we would solve these problems, the traffic problem and the flooding problem. Obviously, it cannot happen overnight. But, as you can see, we are one step closer with the signing of the contract. This government delivers on its commitments. I think that needs to be said over and over and over and over again. We get things done while others talk and dream about things. We vision them while others talk and criticize. We plan them while others are making announcements. We are putting one block on top of another and building things. We are the government that gets things done.
Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Horace Chang in his remarks noted that this project is a welcome one. That is a welcome relief for the people of Montego Bay and surrounding communities, as well as economic fortune to the parish.
We welcome this. The road will signal not only this government commitment and this particular Prime Minister to in fact raise the level of infrastructure throughout Jamaica. And that's why it has come about because of his own commitment and effort and work, and I've examined and already designed much of what we expect NROC to do to ensure we have an appropriate road infrastructure throughout Jamaica. It's a long journey for the governing party. It's a long journey personally, and I'm very pleased to be here. This road will not only bring relief to the traffic that is required for the people of Montego Bay, it around Montego Bay sounds, it's not that long as it sounds. It's 14-kilometer of road. Comes from my constituency through Minister Clark's constituency, through West Central Attorney Generals, and then go up to the hills and touch Hanover in the east and South St. James. But critical, Prime Minister, not only will bring relief, but will bring significant change the economic fortunes of the entire region, not just Montego Bay. So, Prime Minister, in many ways I have to express the appreciation of the people of St. James to you for this effort, because without your support and effort, we would not have had it. To the China Harbour, Excellency Mr. Key from the Ambassador, I also want to express our appreciation and thanks, and look forward to working with you, getting it done on time and within budget.
The General Manager of CHEC's Americas Division expressed appreciation for the opportunity to undertake this project.
As a General Manager for the American Division of CHEC, I'm delighted to be here today participating in this very important signing between the government of Jamaica and CHEC for the development of the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project. I'm so appreciative for giving us this opportunity. The Perimeter Road will be designed and constructed by CHEC to world-class specifications and of the highest quality. We can guarantee that with the completion of this road, citizens can travel on the comfortable and modern road and have increased economic development in this city. As the Jamaica saying goes, Jamaica, no problem man. 10 years ago, we came to Jamaica and participated in some road projects, growing with Jamaica and making many friends. Now we have entered house marketing to improve accommodations for Jamaicans.
Chinese ambassador to Jamaica, TIANCHI, for his part congratulated the government on this project to continue its development of the country's infrastructure and economy.
It's my great pleasure to witness the signing of such important contract. I'm sure China Harbour will once again try its best with highest quality and efficiency to build a new modern road. The road will promote the connectivity of the cities and people's life and become a new landmark of our cooperation of the Belt and Road Initiative, with more and more visible roads and bridges constructed by our joint efforts. The invisible roads and bridge connecting the hearts of our people will be broader and brighter. Though affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of Jamaica still succeeds in implementing infrastructure programs which help drive jobs and economic activities, improve productivity, and strengthen resilience.
Still making the news tonight, REID is set to receive $23.3 million as a settlement package after stepping down as principal of Jamaica College, JC. The Ministry of Education is to provide $16.1 million to the embattled former cabinet minister, while Jamaica College will pay an additional $7.2 million. REID stepped down as principal of JC on Saturday ahead of the expiration of a special leave that was granted to him when he was appointed Education Minister. The Education Ministry had rejected a recommendation by the school's board that the special leave be extended by an additional 5 years. Now, initial reports were that REID's settlement was close to $100 million. However, Education Minister Favour Williams debunked that claim. REID has been before the court since October 2019 on charges of defrauding the Ministry of Education and Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, of millions of dollars. He resigned from the Andrew Holness-led cabinet in March of 2019. In its statement, the trust reiterated that neither Jamaica College nor the school's board has paid or is to pay any money. Minister Williams explained that the legal advice that the government received was that according to current laws and regulations governing the education sector, it was duty-bound to make a contribution to the settlement. As we continue with the news, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation hosted the Low-Cost Housing Design Competition Virtual Award Ceremony yesterday. Here is Colleen May with the details.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says a thrust to provide innovative and affordable housing solutions for Jamaicans continues to be a priority for the government.
Today is yet another manifestation of the government's commitment to providing affordable, sustainable, and climate-resilient housing solutions for our most needy, for our hard-working citizens, and for our indigent citizens. The program's key objective is affordability. That is the primary objective. But there are some other criteria as well. Sustainability. That is now a word that features heavily in everything that the government does, particularly as it relates to the environment. So the housing solution has to be sustainable, meaning that it is not taking from the environment in a way that could damage it, meaning that it will last long with low maintenance, meaning that it will use energy in an efficient way. We also wanted a design that was replicable, meaning that we could use it all over in multiple circumstances.
Prime Minister, who was addressing the Low-Cost Housing Design Competition of Virtual Awards ceremony yesterday, said the initiative is intended to stimulate discussions on innovative building design technologies with a view of incorporating these into future developments.
The reason why we went the route of competition is that we needed to develop a thought community around building in Jamaica. Obviously, we have schools of architecture and urban planning. We have schools of engineering. We have creative persons in design. But they may be off on missions that are commercially driven, that may not necessarily always look at public interest or public good. And the government has a role to stimulate the emergence of a community of thought around building and design in Jamaica. And a good way to do this is to get the architects, the engineers, the designers, the urban planners who may be pursuing their individual streams to collaborate on a national problem. And what is a national problem? The national problem is to find a housing solution that comes in at a price point where the average Jamaican worker can afford.
The competition solicited participation of local architects, engineers, builders, and students in the built environment to identify cost-effective, sustainable, and climate-resilient designs for the housing solutions to be built under the new social housing program. There were over 300 submissions from individuals and teams. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie, in commending the Prime Minister for what he says is an innovative approach to housing, pointed out that the housing needs of many persons in this country are great.
It is important that we pay attention to affordable housing solutions because that is a major requirement. The urban component of the Ministry of Local Government have started to expand our housing program into rural Jamaica. We, Prime Minister, on our own would not be able to build as many houses as we want, but PSUL, with this join-up approach, Michael, we will get much more for the price of one. So I am going to be a wagonist this morning by coming on board. And I think the Prime Minister must be commended for the innovative approach to housing. And as a member of Parliament who represents a constituency where the housing needs are great, I can speak from a position of knowledge as to the real challenge we face as a government and as a people in providing affordable housing solutions.
Chair of the panel of judges for the competition, Janet Thompson, commended the government for initiating such competition.
Yes, I speak this morning for the panel of judges, and firstly, we really would like to congratulate the Ministry, Prime Minister, Permanent Secretary, and all others for the launch of this competition, which really is an excellent idea and an important one, as it has harnessed really from a broad cross-section of our population, young and old, professionals and not, the ideas, which I think is really what we're trying to get, ideas on how to solve this problem. We also want to thank the Ministry for selecting us as a panel of judges. As Permanent Secretary Sewell said earlier, there were 9 judges selected from a broad cross-section of both private and public bodies, all professionals. And we really were very excited and happy to be given this assignment and really carried it out very carefully and, diligently, because it's really such an important task that we were given to judge these entries. We embarked on a process of individually grading in each section first. So we started with the 1-bedroom, moved on to 2, then 3, then multifamily. So we would individually and independently grade each entry, after which we would then convene, review our findings, and the winner in each section or in each category was determined based on majority.
Reporting from Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Thank you, Colleen, for that report. Businesswoman and community volunteer, the Honorable Iselin Golding, is the new Custos of St. Catherine. Governor General, His Excellency the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, conducted the installation in a ceremony held yesterday at the National Police College of Jamaica in Twickenham Park. Speaking at the ceremony, the Governor General said the new Custos has been very involved in the life of communities across the parish and is well placed to provide leadership. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, the Honorable Olivia Grange, who represented Prime Minister Andrew Holness, said Mrs. Golding had an early baptism in the business of working with people through her community involvement and is expected to do well in her new role. In her reply, the Custos said the position engenders endless possibilities for continuity, renewal, and engagement for partnership with community leaders and justices of the peace, JPs, for the development of the parish. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing.